Where is Craig?
Where is Craig? What the heck?
He's got his shield on his video.
You don't look too good, Craig.
Oh, wait. No, that's weird. I was using my, that's funny. Oh, that works again. That's my Logitech. My Logitech camera is working again. Hi.
Hey, Craig.
I had that hidden because I was using my other one. This is better. This is awesome. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday Live with Craig Duswalt. And I'd love to put some music behind it, but then I have to get the copyright thing, and it's such a nightmare, and so I'm not going to do that. Every time I do music on my webinars or these master classes, I get flagged on YouTube, and they don't let me put it up. All right, we got a bunch of people on. So today is a good one. If you're a speaker, or even if you aspire to be a speaker, or even if you accidentally get thrown up on a stage sometime, this is a good one for y'all to have. I said y'all. That's pretty funny. Let me just set my chat up. Get my chat. Got the participants. I'm going to mute you all, and then you could ask questions if you want by unmuting yourself. But you are now all officially muted. There's like 30 something people that were on, and so far we have 18. So I'll go slow kind of in the beginning. So this is, let me just minimize that.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
Somebody's in that's not normally in.
Someone's in that's not usually in?
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
She looks pretty sexy, I'll say that.
Oh, Michelle is back. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how's it going, Craig?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great.
What have you been doing the last 26 years?
Wait, that would mean I look old, Craig.
No, you look young. Have you lost weight too?
Yeah. It's easy to lose weight when someone else is dieting.
Yeah, it is. My wife has lost 12 pounds too. I hit 20 today, so I'm down 20 now.
Wow.
I'm getting there. Hey, this is some of you that are like health nuts or will abuse me for the next 5 seconds. But today is Apple Day. And all I'm eating today is 6 large apples, and that's it. It's a reset day. So I better keep busy because I'm going to be hungry.
They're not Macintoshes?
They're
Macintosh
apples, actually.
Hey, Craig, Gwen messaged me. She can change your flight Wednesday night if you still have that extra ticket available.
I do. All
right.
right.
We'll take both of them.
All right. Sounds good. My son is starring in the Addams Family musical on Wednesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Tim and Gwen are going to come and meet us there, along with, I think Tyler and Ryan are coming, and my wife and I, and our friends down the street. Anyway, bore you with details. Okay. How am I doing the weight loss, Fred? Well, I don't eat anymore, and there you go. So, no, I'm 1,250 calories a day. And to tell you the truth, like yesterday, Sunday, I cheated. I had 2 pieces of pizza, and I had and then the rest of the day was regular stuff. But I had a little bit more than 1,250, and I still maintained. So as long as you have some cheat days thrown in there, so you don't go insane, you know. It's not Tyler, it's Hayden is in a play at his high school, Gregory. It's
And
called
is your
The Addams
neighbor
Family.
going to?
Hayden's going to be an actor? Fabulous.
All right, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We don't necessarily want to throw him into the performing arts yet. Hayden is a full-on singer and guitar player. And
Right. And then Tyler's going to write and produce and direct
Tyler
his
will
first
produce
musical.
the stuff, and then
Yeah, right.
So yes, Dave, I'm with you. If I ate 6 apples in one day, I'd be on the toilet all day. Well, that's the idea, I think. There's the flush out reset system. Anyway, that's way too TMI. All right, I'm going to share my screen. So this is a good one for speakers, and this is what I do, and a lot of speakers, I've learned this from so many speakers, what they do in their presentations. So what I've done is I've I've put together the minutes that you should talk on each subject for a 15-minute presentation, a 30-minute presentation, a 60-minute presentation, and a 90-minute presentation. So most of us get 1 hour presentations if you're speaking at a seminar or if you're doing a keynote. So this one is focused on for, let's call them, for lack of a better word, an entrepreneur event, a multi-speaker event, sort of like my event where I run the show and then I have a couple of guest speakers, that kind of event. The only tweak between this and a keynote is the close. Because when I do keynotes, there's no close because I am just doing a keynote. I'm just teaching or sharing motivational stories. For my 1 hour keynote, which is what I mainly get when I do keynotes for corporations, I end on a reverse shoplifting, outside the box reverse shoplifting thing. So what I tell them on a 1 hour keynote, because I know it ends with a standing ovation, is that I have an outside the box marketing tip for all you guys at a corporation. So I'm usually talking to salespeople or marketing people or leadership people, but I can tweak my ending for any of them. If it's sales, I'll tweak it. Marketing, I'm locked in. Leadership, I'm still locked in because I teach them all in a keynote. You got to write a book. Even if you are working for a corporation, you should write a book about something that you do that works in your corporation that sets you apart from everybody else. And so then I tell them to write the book, and that's sprinkled throughout the presentation. And then at the end of my keynote, where I don't have a normal close where I'm trying to upsell something, I end with, and here's a great outside the box marketing idea for when you write a book. A lot of people have trouble selling books. And then I tell them about, just go to a bookstore, you put them on the shelf, and that's called reverse shoplifting. And usually people are laughing hysterically. And then I show the picture of my book next to Tony Robbins' book. They laugh even more. And then I end with a big bang. So I usually get like a standing ovation for that because I'm ending on something really, really funny and kind of weird and crazy or whatever. And I'm crazy from the beginning because I throw out t-shirts there. So they're like, I'm the nutty guy. And so ending with something really nutty works for that. So that's for keynotes, and that's different from what I'm teaching today. Today is for multi-speaker events, sort of like my event where I run most of it and have a couple of guest speakers, events like that. So that's what the focus is today. And then I'll do another one on specifically a keynote, which is basically the same thing as this, just a little variation, but I'll do that separately. So knowing that, this is Monday Live. This is how to structure your stage time. That's what this is. So first, we're going to start with a 15-minute talk. And before I start that, James Malinchak, he does a lot of my type of events. He's been doing them for years. He was my mentor when I first started as a speaker, and I did really well in his coaching program. I wrote 9 books in 4 weeks. No, I wrote 4 books in 9 weeks. Wow, haven't spoken in a while about that subject. 4 books in 9 weeks. And everyone in the industry wanted to know, how did you do that? So I share that, how I did that, how I met James, and how I wanted to do really good in this coaching program. So I wrote 4 books in 9 weeks. And then I did my first event and I made $135,000. I had 200 and something people. So what I do when James, I go to his seminars now all the time. When he does seminars, no one's done them for a year, but when he does seminars, I went to like 20 in a row. And I'd sit in the back of the audience, and no one knows I'm there. I'm not a scheduled speaker, but I always go visit the seminar for a day. And sometimes I stay the whole time just to relearn. But he always sees me and he always says, hey, I'm going to bring you up. And I know he's going to bring me up because I was his golden child, and I'm going to edify him and make him look amazing. So I go up on stage, I tell the story of how we met. I'm literally up there for 5 to 10 minutes. I tell the story of how we met. I tell a little bit about my background touring with Guns N' Roses and Air Supply. I tell them that I've become very successful in the speaker world. And then I tell a funny Guns N' Roses story, and that's it. I don't sell, I don't close, I don't do anything like that. 5 to 7, maybe 10 minutes, maybe. And at the end of that presentation, I'm in the back of the room, and for the rest of the seminar, I'm there. I have a line of people wanting to meet me, wanting to talk to me, because I was James's golden boy. You know, I went through his program and I did very, very well. So that's a total separate one, but I have that in my back pocket just in case anybody asks me to go on stage and share a story, because I am known in the industry as the guy that toured with Guns N' Roses, right? So if I'm at a seminar that I'm not speaking at, a lot of people know that I'm there, and someone might say, hey, come up on stage because that guy toured with Guns N' Roses. He has funny stories, so come up on stage. So I have a 5 to 7 minute thing in my back pocket. So that's just telling a story. There's no close, there's no points or anything like that. Just telling a quick story, how I got started and how successful I am now. I have that in my back pocket, but that's not really a talk that is a talk. It's just an accidental showing. So if someone brings me on stage accidentally, which I have done at my seminars, just ask Tim Gillette, just ask Marianne Amon, just ask a lot of people that I've asked over the years, hey, fill in for me for 5 minutes. You know, go up on stage, do something for 5 minutes. My intro guy is not here. My the audio visual is not working properly. You know, I need to fill up time before before we start. You need, as a speaker and as a business owner, to have something in your back pocket, 5 to 7 minutes. So that being said, now I'm going to focus on the talks. So this is a 15-minute talk, and we'll start there. And they'll all kind of look the same, but I'm adding minutes and subtracting minutes for reasons that I will explain. First 15-minute talk, you introduce yourself for 3 minutes. So it's basically just an introduction of yourself, give a little bit about your background, why you're on that stage. Like while you're given the background, you need to tell everyone why you're the expert in that field. There's got to be a reason that you're on that stage for 15 minutes. In your introduction, try to fit that in there. So the introduction, basically your background, who you are, because a lot of speakers say they won't buy anything from you until they know you first. They have to know who you are. So give a little, you know, I'm not a big, starting with the baby pictures and the family pictures. I go right into just out of college, I toured with Air Supply, I toured with Guns N' Roses, then I opened up an ad agency. I kind of go right, thank you, Roger. I don't show the baby pictures, and that's nice if you have a 4-hour presentation or you're doing a 3-day seminar, maybe you could do that, but get to the business part of your introduction and why you're on that stage. That's the thinking. Why are you blessed to be on that stage? And give us the reasons why. I toured with Air Supply, toured with Guns N' Roses, learned a lot of outside the box marketing techniques that we didn't learn in business school from these rock stars. And that's why I'm here today presenting you with some outside the box marketing ideas. Now, I graduated from college with a marketing degree, so I do have the traditional marketing background, but I've also added these ideas, So that's what I do for my introduction. So 3 minutes max. If you have an extremely boring background, don't fill it up with the baby pictures just to do 3 minutes. Just do 1 minute here and then add more minutes later. But if you have we all have something that we can pull from our backgrounds. I know what everyone in my mastermind does. You all have something there that you can pull to talk for 3 minutes, but just make sure, another thing, when you're doing an introduction, start seeding who you are. Like when I talk about Guns N' Roses and Air Supply, I say I learned how to market myself through these guys, and how did they get 80,000 people to come to a concert? You know, different than the traditional marketing. So already in my introduction, I'm talking about my background, but I'm also telling them I'm your marketing guy. You know, so 3 minutes introduction, then your system. So I teach, and when I do my seminars, that we should all have some sort of system. When you write a book, you should have a system. Mine was the RockStar System for Success. It was an 8-step system. Rock Your Life will be launched officially in August or September. Still finalizing. I should have the dates today. Locked in today. I'm pitting the 2 hotels against each other, just so you know, for my August or September event. Anyway, So my system is an 8-step system, RockStar system for success. It'll be a new one in Rock Your Life. And anyway, so I just tell them in a 15-minute what my system is. 1 minute. I have this RockStar system. I use the acronym RockStar. R is reinvent yourself. O, overindulge on the internet. C, collaborate with like-minded people, and so on and so on. That only takes a minute. I'm glossing over my system so they know that I have a system. Only takes 1 minute. Then I tell them I'm going to preview out of those 8 steps. I've chosen today 2, because it's only a 15-minute talk, 2 of the points that I think would benefit you guys the most. So I'm going to say overindulge on the internet and outside the box marketing is the O. So I forget whatever it was back then. But anyway, choose 2 of the points that are the most important for that specific audience, because you should know your audience before you're going in. So you only preview. So you say something like, so out of my 8 steps, I chose today the 2 most important steps that I know would be beneficial to you. You're talking now to the audience, to you. You're that audience that you're talking to. That should only take a minute as well. Just tell them what they are and list the 2 points. Then you're going to go into point number 1, and you're going to spend 3 minutes talking about, teaching about what point number 1 is. Make sure you're teaching not only what to do, how to do something. Now, I throw a lot of stories in there. In a 15-minute presentation, it's hard to throw a story in there because my stories last 2, 3, 4 minutes possibly. So I don't throw stories in a quick 15-minute presentation. I just give the information needed. So point number 1, you spend 3 minutes on point number 1, and you spend another 3 minutes on point number 2. So far you've done 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 minutes. And you're at point 2. Excuse me. So you're at 11 minutes. You review the 2 points that you just did because you promised them here that you're going to give them 2 points today that you know will benefit them the most. So you give the 2 points and then you tell them, so just to review, so we talked about this and this. All you're doing is showing them that you're an honest guy, that you said you're going to do something and you did it. And here are the 2 points that we went over. Now, it seems silly because it's only 2 points. They're going to remember what they are, but all you're doing is proving that you are an authentic, honest person because you told them you're going to give 2 points. This is an NLP thing, and you gave them the 2 points. So you're telling them, see, I told you I was going to do that. 30 seconds to a minute on that. And then the last 3 minutes on a 15-minute presentation is the close. Now, be careful here because 3 minutes is really 20% of the talk. A lot of speakers, promoters only want 10% to be the close, maybe even 5%. But if in your close, you can incorporate some teaching in the close while you're closing, like talking about your system and why it works and why they need it now and teach why they need it, that is good to add in the close. So there's a 15-minute presentation, and then you tell them to meet you in the back of the room. Now, for all the talks that I'm going to talk about today, there are 2 types of speakers, And I learned this from James Malinchak and other speaker gurus. There are the speakers that want the standing ovation at the end of a talk where you're closing and trying to upsell something. That is not who we are. That's not who I am. That's not who James is. That's not who a lot of people that close very, very well. I would love to end with reverse shoplifting. It's going to get a standing ovation all the time. It always does. But I learned over the years, I want to make sure that the last thing they remember, I'll put reverse shoplifting somewhere there at the end of point number 2 or something, if I'm talking about marketing. But here, I want to make sure they go to the back of the room and they know what my program is. So in the close, I just tell them, here's what you get, and go to the back of the room. So there's almost like a lull after the great presentation. But if you end with an applause and a standing ovation, they're in a different mindset now than buying something there. And that was amazing. So when I used to close with reverse shoplifting, and after my close, I would get way less people to buy because I just shifted them from buying something to, oh my God, that's right, that guy was hysterical. He was so funny. And they come up to me at the end, man, can I get your picture? That was such a great presentation. You were so funny. And they're not going to the back of the table to buy. So be careful of that. We all want the standing ovation, but leave that for the keynotes. All right, 30-minute talk. 30-minute talk is the same idea, but I'm just adjusting points and minutes. So first introduction, a little bit longer, 4 minutes. So 4 minutes, same idea that I just said. I'm not going to go over it again. Your system, once again, if you have an 8-step system, you tell them the 8 steps. 1 minute, quick little thing. This is my system to help you become a better marketer, help you become a better leader, help you become a better salesperson, help you become more authentic, whatever it is, your system. You just lay it out, listed. Don't go into detail into each thing, listed. That's all you're doing is listing your system. Then today, now for the 30-minute, you're gonna preview your 3 points. That's only a minute. Once again, out of these 8, I chose the 3 most important things that you guys need today to grow your business. So 3 points that only lasts a minute to tell them about the 3 points. You're telling them what the 3 points are, and you don't have to go into detail. It's almost like a little list, but maybe a little bit more expanded why it's beneficial to them. Then point number 1, 6 minutes. Maybe you can tell a story here. You probably can. Be careful though. Make sure you're teaching in those 6 minutes before you're be sure you're showing them how to do something, telling them what to do and how to do it as well. Let me just interject here. A lot of speakers will tell you, if you're a speaker training, be sure not to tell them how to do something. I am the exact opposite of that. When I do presentations for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5, I do tell how to do stuff. I tell them the outside the box marketing ideas that will only be embellished more at my 3-day events. And everyone says you shouldn't do that. You should just wet their whistles so they come. And I'm a firm believer in not doing that because I believe this. I think we're all TV movie trailers. We're trailers, movie trailers. The movie trailers always show the best part of the movie. And I'm thinking to myself when I watch a trailer, well, if that's just the trailer, the movie must be great. Well, I want them thinking, if I gave these as my free content, imagine what I'm going to get when I go to the seminar. Plus, even if they hear the same thing that I did at my presentations, at my seminar, they're going to hear it a second time and actually do it this time. So anyway, back to this. Point 1, 6 minutes. Point number 2, 6 minutes. You have a time for a 2-minute story in there and teach. And point number 3, 6 minutes. So now we're at, now we're at 4 minutes, 5, 6, 7, 6, and 12, 18, 24 minutes, 1 minute to review, it's 25 minutes to tell them, here are the 3 points we just talked about, and then a 5-minute close that comes out to 30 minutes. So it's a little bit longer of a close. And here's where maybe you could add a testimonial or 2. Now, here's another thing. This is Craig's belief. I am not big on testimonials when I close. I know that this person probably has 400 testimonials of people that use their system. I would rather close telling people the benefits of what they get in the program or the benefits of coming to a 3-day event instead of testimonial, because to tell you the truth, if you do have time for one, do one of your best testimonials, that's fine. But when you start loading testimonial after testimonial after testimonial, I'm like, shoot me now. Just, yes, I get it. You're great. It's just too much, too much. So anyway, 5-minute close there. That's 30 minutes. Now we're getting into the meat stuff. So when I usually speak at a big event, I always get an hour to an hour and a half. So Peak Potentials, which is now Success Resource International or Success Resources America, SRA, I get 90 minutes. Most of the time I get 90 minutes when I'm talking at a really big event, like 200 to 500 people, 90 minutes. But a lot of them now don't trust a 90-minute speaker. So you got to be really good to get 90 minutes because at least in an hour, if it's painful, it's only an hour. You better make sure that the speaker is a great speaker, because if they're on there 90 minutes and you see in the first 10 minutes, holy crap, made a big mistake, and then they still got an hour and 20 minutes left of that speaker, the big mistake. So never give anyone 90 minutes unless you know for a fact they're going to be entertaining, they're going to be interesting, they have a lot of story or something to give 90 minutes. But 1 hour is safer, even though if they're not really good, 30 minutes max, unless you are 100% sure, because even an hour of boring, you just want to shoot yourself. So here's the hour talk now for the same idea, but now I add more points and da-da-da. Hour talk, 5-minute intro. Now it could be a little longer, but most of us, I'm blessed. I have really good intro because I toured with Air Supply and Guns N' Roses, and I understand that. So my intro can be a little bit longer, but I still, in a 1 hour talk, I leave it to 5 minutes. But if you don't have the most exciting introduction, please, not more than 5 minutes, even if you have an hour talk. And because you want to do other stuff, 5 minutes max. Your system, now say you have an 8-step system, 10-step system. I'm just giving 2 minutes now because you can go a little bit longer. You can have tell what your system is, and for each little point, give another sentence or two of why that's in your system or the benefit of knowing that piece in your system. So I put 2 minutes there, just you could take a little bit more time with it. Maybe why you came up with this system, why this type of system is beneficial, something along those lines. Then you're going to preview 4 points. Now you have an hour, so now you're going to do 4 of your 8 points, assuming you have an 8-point system. So 4 points, once again, you could go into a little bit more detail. You could take your time with things. So I added 2 minutes instead of 1 minute there. Then you're going to do point number 1 is 10 minutes. Here is where you must tell a story in your points, not just maybe tell a story. You must tell a story in your 10 minutes. You don't want to be teaching boring points for 10 minutes. Give us a story of how it relates to each of the points. So point number 1, 10 minutes. Point number 2, 10 minutes. Point number 3, 10 minutes. Point number 4, 10 minutes. Then you can still review the 4 points in 1 minute. 4 points, you could just say, so I told you this, 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 and this. All you're doing is showing that you said you're going to do something and you did it. Because there are speakers out there, I'm not going to mention names, but one of them is very, very famous, that says he is going to talk about something and then he never mentions it and he goes off on tangents and you never even heard the 3 amazing things that he was going to talk about, because that's the way he does it. And I wish I could just tell you his name. Text me later, I'll tell you his name. I'm kidding, no, I won't. So anyway, he has 3 names, I'll just say that. So anyway, he does this all the time, and you're like, wait, I thought you were talking about this. I think that's where it came from. Make sure you tell people, review, so that it makes you tell about the 4 points that you're going to tell people about. And 10-minute close. Now here's where this is 10 minutes is 10% of an hour, which is good. But again, in the close, make sure that you're telling a story as well here. Do not, please do not give 8 testimonials now because you have 10 minutes. Please don't do that. 1 testimonial is fine. If you really have a second amazing one, say Les Brown and Brian Tracy both give you testimonials, fine. Throw in 2 testimonials. But other than that, tell a story during the close. Tell a case study during the close, maybe something that happened. Be careful. We're not allowed to give numbers. You're not allowed to say, and if you do give numbers, these results are not typical. So I never give numbers because I don't want the powers that be come after and say, you promised that we're going to make this much money and da-da. Don't do that. So, but the close, try to tell a story in the close as well. And you could go with a long story, make sure the story has something to do with what you're upselling in the thing. But go into detail now in what they receive. Give lots of bonuses and why these bonuses are important. So that close is 10 minutes long. Take your time with it. Make sure they understand what you're offering. A confused mind doesn't buy. Okay, I've done this thing. I've done it numerous times where I give this close. At the end of my close, I'll say, and I'm going to mess it up because I haven't done it in so long. You can make 3 payments of $197, or I do it much better than what I'm about to do. I have this whole thing. You can make 3 payments of $197, or 1 payment of $297. But I say it much better than that. So they're all doing the math. Wait a minute, because most people want payments because it's cheaper. So you can do 3 payments of $197 or just 1 payment of $297. And everyone in the audience thinks I made a huge mistake. Oh my God, poor guy is senile. He's lost it. And they're on their calculators and they're all doing this. 197 times 3 is $600. Why is it $297? And then I do this. So you can make 3 payments of $197, or you can make 1 payment of $297. And I do that. And then I did it at eWomen once. I sold 84 units. Mine was a higher price. I would think it was 4 payments of $297 or 1 payment of $597, something like that. But they all bought the 1 payment of $597, whatever it was, and made a killing. So that's just a close that you're more than welcome to use. But it works. It's just, they're like, what? That doesn't make sense. And then last is the 90-minute talk. And this is where you get so much freedom. But here's the problem with the 90-minute talk. Like I said, you got to be amazing to get a 90-minute talk. Seriously, seriously amazing, because it's so easy in the middle. You could have a great opening and a great end, but make sure your middle is filled with something exciting. So what I do in my 90-minute talk, I make sure, first of all, I throw a couple of videos in there, quick videos, entertain people in something. I'll show a Guns N' Roses something exciting in the middle that changes their state. I have them stand up and do something. Oh, I know what I do. Right in the middle of my presentation, it's literally at the 45-minute talk point when I do a 90-minute talk. Guess what I do? Raise your hand, or unmute yourself. Guess what I do, Michelle? Unmute.
Throw out t-shirts.
No, I do that in the beginning.
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline, Tim Gillette. That's what I do right in the middle. So I got 45 minutes, right? So my first 20 minutes are gold. I'm telling the story of how the guitar in the audience, where the guitarist is moving everybody over, Craig moving me over to give out backstage passes. So and that's like, how do we stand out from the competition? And these women just happen to stand out from the competition. And I do that whole thing, right? So I give out backstage passes, So that's a funny story. Then I give some teaching points, but in the end is great. I got all my outside the box marketing ideas at the end, but I'm teaching in the middle. And after I do all 8, I'll show you in a minute. But in the middle, at the 4th one, when it's starting to go, even though I still have a lot of good stuff in there, and I'll sprinkle in some high energy stuff in there, but I still want to make sure they're with me for the last 45. I play Sweet Caroline. I say, we're going to do something fun. Bring music into your life. And I play Sweet Caroline. Everyone's standing up and they're singing, and I've got them dialed in for the last 45 minutes. It is something that works with my brand. Song, music, fun, and just you can figure out something. It could be Susie Pruden. I don't know if she's on right now, but she sits in a chair and she does aerobics from her chair. It's hysterical because you really don't have to move. And yet it's very tiring what she does, lifting the stuff. And I'm sitting there when she does it. So if she did that like right in the middle, it just gets people moving again and they don't really have to move. So they're like, this is easy. I like this. And then they go, wow, I could actually do that in my office chair. Something right in the middle. I did not put that in here, but just know in between points 4 and 8, do something like, in between points 4 and 5, do something like that. All right, so here's a 90-minute talk. Intro for 10 minutes. Disclaimer, major disclaimer. If you are not a very exciting person with a very exciting background. Don't just do an intro for 10 minutes because Craig said to do an intro for 10 minutes. In other words, adding the baby pictures. Don't do that. I would rather you do a 5-minute introduction and sprinkle 2 more minutes, a minute more for each of the 8 points. Do that instead. But this is where Bo Eason comes into play. You should have an opening story. Now his, if you've seen Bo on my stage or went to his, it's where he's at the party with his little kids, and all the parents are judging him and his wife on how they raise their kids, and like Bo is throwing a football, you better not drop that ball, and the other parents are like, oh, it's okay if the kid drops the ball. They're young. And Bo's like, nope, my kid's a winner. He will never drop that ball. And the parents go crazy. No, we don't agree. They're of the, everyone should get a trophy. And Bo Eason is the total opposite. No, only the winner gets a trophy. He creates winners. Now, some people get offended by that, but he knows his audience. And he knows if you want to be with him and tell good stories, you got to want to be a winner. Now, if you come in second place, and that's fine, but he doesn't promote that, but it's still good. Even if we put our goals way up here and we almost hit them, but the goals are so high, we're going to do very, very good in life. But he has an opening thing where you just tell a story right off the bat. There's where you can use 10 minutes. And it's your defining moment story. I'm not going to go what mine is, but it has something to do. I'll tell you what it is, but I'm not going to go the whole story. It's when I was like a young kid growing up in Deer Park, Long Island, and I'm playing with I have friends that live on the street. I'm like 10 years old, and during the summer we would play baseball across the street at the schoolyard. Well, I was a littler kid than my bigger friends on the street, and sometimes when they just were bored, we would all go down to John's house down the street, knock on the door, and we'd watch TV for a little while before we all go play baseball. And numerous times in a 2-year span, I would knock on the door and I'd hear this, shh, he's here. And they would exclude me that day because they just felt like, let's not have Craig today. And it affected me tremendously, because I was like not accepted, and what did I do wrong and all that stuff, right? So I'm a big proponent for the underdog. That's my whole thing in life. My son, Ryan, middle child, who's the drummer now, and he's laughing in their faces. We would have neighbors that had a fence, but you could see in their driveway in their house, and they used to invite people over, and they would say, no, Ryan, you can't come over today. And he would sit at the fence and cry. I haven't told that story in so long. I haven't told the story. And already I'm just getting teary-eyed because I looked at that and said, that will not happen again. And we actually moved. I actually moved out of that neighborhood to another city. That's when we moved to Westlake Village. And it was, I'd say 85% because of that. I said, that is not going to happen to my kid, but happened to me. Well, let me just tell you, when I tell that story, when I do a good job telling that story, I've got everybody like, I love this guy. Oh my God. He had a hard life too, just like us. But it's real. You can't make up a story. You got to go. What was the defining moment in your life? And that is a great thing to put right here in a longer talk. If you have a 15-minute talk, you can't do that because you'll be done. Your talk will be over by the time your story is over. Because when we say 10 minutes, I know people go over, trust me. Everyone says, oh, it's only 10 minutes and there are 20 minutes in their story. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Time it. You got to time your stuff. And don't go over when you're on someone else's stage, because then you won't speak there again. Introduction, 10 minutes. Then I give my 8-point system. So I give myself 4 minutes for my 8-point system. Mine's an 8-point system. It was. My Rock Your Life would be maybe a little different. I think it's 10. Then point number 1, 8 minutes. This is boring now. Point number 2, 8 minutes. Tell a story in here. Point number 3, 8 minutes. Now, here's the other thing with these 8 points. If point number one is way better than point number three, it's okay to do 12 minutes for point number one and have a really good story, and then 4 minutes for point number three. Some of the points might not be as detailed as other ones, but just make sure you hit them all and tell a little bit about each. But you might have a great story for one of the points that takes a little longer. Just know that I've given you 8 minutes for all these points. So you have 64 minutes to get out all your 8 points. Some might be longer, some might be shorter. Just know that. Then reviewing the 8 points again is very important. You do this. I gave you 2 minutes to do that. And then your close is still 10 minutes on an hour-and-a-half presentation, because you have 90 minutes or 80 minutes now to seed the audience for those 80 minutes so that you don't have to do a hard close. Now, I'm all about soft closes. I'll do one of these Monday lives on my close, my exact close, how I close. But just know I'm not a hard sell close guy. I hate it. I don't like it being done to me. Just tell me what it is, and I'll make the decision whether I want to do that. There are people out there that make you feel guilty, make you feel horrible if you don't sign up. I'm not that guy, and I would not suggest you be that person. So close is still 10 minutes in a 90-minute presentation, because you don't want to do a 20-minute close, because then everyone is like, uh-oh, he's closing. He's still closing. Yep, there's a guy, I'll mention his name because I don't know him, Fan Merrill. He's on a home show thing, and he does real estate. My God, he did a 1-hour presentation, and I think his close was 30 minutes. And it included, all right, good. Start going to the back of the room now. He's only been up there for like 25 minutes. He starts sending people to the back of the room. And this is what was happening. 3 people were literally getting up and going, because he told people, go in the back of the room, sign up now. It's an obvious thing. I mean, if you don't do it, it's just stupid, right? So just go now. 3 people got up right away and started going, and they actually were going to the bathroom. They were leaving to go to the bathroom, and he's using them. Yep. All right, we got 3 right away. Come on, join them. And we're all watching these people, and they're like, I wanted to yell for them. Fan, they're going to the bathroom. They're not signing up for your stuff. But he was a guy that I would just, I don't know him. I just saw that, and I went, no, I didn't sign up. But he's probably a great guy. Fan, I'm sure you're a great guy. You have a hit show. Sure, you're great. I don't mean any disrespect. I just saw that. It's kind of funny. There's my disclaimer. Anyway, RockStar Q&A. All right, we're done with that. I'm going to go back to this. Those are the 4 talks. Once again, in and out, 30 minutes. But now I'll take questions. If anyone has questions, stop sharing. Anyone, unmute yourself if you have a question. Or wave your hand. Or do nothing.
Greg.
And
Greg.
Randy.
How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantabulous.
I like that.
All right. Hey, you were talking about, or I guess for clarification purposes, when you're talking about on the longer talks, when you share your point or your system or your steps, because mine happens to be steps.
Yeah, steps. Yeah.
Are you saying share a story in each one?
Nope.
Just so where are you saying to share the story? Because I missed something there.
Okay. Share if you do if we're talking about the 90-minute presentation.
60 and 90.
Okay, 60 and 90. I was going to say 90 and the 60. You have an opportunity, because you have 10 minutes in an introduction, to share your defining moment story as your introduction, like Bo Eason does. So he does his whole introduction is setting it up that I only work with winners. Because he was just telling a story about how he was throwing a football to his kid. And, remember, do not drop that ball. And the parents were hearing this going, dude, it's okay if he drops the ball. And Bo's like, nope, it is not okay if he drops the ball. We only create winners in our family. And they get all offended. So, but he is telling, this is what my talk is going to be about. There is where you can tell a story about your defining moment. I'm saying in a 90-minute talk, when you get 8 minutes, or in a 60-minute talk, when you get 10 minutes per point, then you got to tell a story in those points. It could be a 1 minute story, a 2 minute story, maybe even a 3 minute story. If you're doing the 60-minute presentation, 4 points, and each point is 10 minutes, you can fit in a 4-minute story and then teach the rest of the 6 minutes.
Would you recommend the story be about why that point or step is
Yes,
how it came to be or why it's important? Or,
absolutely.
all right, got it.
Irv Jersak just edified that, and he's a Toastmasters guru. So in that 10 minutes, you know, you don't want to teach for 10 minutes unless they're the most incredible 10 minutes of teaching. Throw a story in there that proved the point of why this is beneficial to them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if there's any questions.
Hi,
Wow,
Craig.
Doug released 30 pounds. Way to go, Doug Kingsbury. Oops, go ahead. Tony, yes.
Hi. Sorry, I'm on my phone in a parking lot. I just want to make it clear that when you are doing these different lengths, the 15, the 30, whatever, and you were saying go to the back of the room, make sure that there's not a speaker after you and you have time scheduled, that it is okay with the event planner that you can send people to the back of the room. I just wanted to
that's a
clarify
great
that.
clarification. This is, yes, thank you. And I said in the beginning, this is like for entrepreneurs, my type of event. So, but make sure that you're allowed to offer something. If you're not allowed to offer something, then the close goes away and then it turns more into a keynote. You know, you're just still teaching your stuff, but you can't close. Yeah, you better make sure that A, you're allowed to send people in the back of the room and that you've cleared that with the promoter. Great point.
I was going to say on that, Craig, is if you can't make the sale, but you need to give some sort of call to action, like they can come to a table of yours or something like that. That's where you put in the close section, right?
Yes, sir. So yeah, so it might not be a close where you're actually sending them back in the room to make money, to upsell something, but it could be if you're allowed to do a free offer that's still in the close. Make sure you get people to do the free offer, because believe it or not, some people don't even sign up for the free offer because they feel that you're only trying to get their email address. So you still got to sell your free offer. Or maybe it's just go meet me at the table so that you can receive a free brochure, a form to get the free offer or something. But whatever that is, make sure you're allowed to send them to the table. Just make sure you're allowed to do something to close someone. Closing can be, as Tim just said, a free offer. Meet me at the table. That's still a close because you want people to meet you at the table. You still got to get them there. When I do events, there's 30 tables. How do you get someone to go to your table? That is a close, even though you're not selling something. You're really selling them to go to your table. So it's still
a free iPad at your table. They'll come.
Yeah. So Tim has a drawing for a free iPad, and he gets a lot of people to come to his table.
But also,
Hey, Craig.
Craig, if it's a paid keynote, then there usually is not a sale.
Right. That's what we said in the beginning. Correct.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I was saying in a keynote, totally different presentation than mine today. This was all about a multi-speaker event where you're allowed to sell. Anyone else?
Yeah, Craig.
Roger.
Yeah. So normally when you're on stage at somebody else's event, you're selling $297 tickets to a 3-day event. And from there, you're going to sell a mastermind.
That's what I do.
What if the schedule of the speaking event doesn't coincide with an upcoming live 3-day? What do you sell?
I always coincides with a live 3-day. Because if I'm speaking a week before, I'm still selling the live 3-day. Well, if we're talking about the pandemic where there is no live, that's another discussion. But if you have a live event coming up, no matter when, I always have the next one scheduled. If I'm talking on a stage, my next 3-day event is scheduled. Does that make sense?
Oh, in other words, okay, so if you had a 3-day and a month later somebody invited you on stage, that's not your window. You're going to wait until the next 3-day is coming up before you decide to accept those opportunities.
No. When I speak, so say I do an event, I do a 3-day event, and then two days later, I speak at a guest speaking slot where my next event is. I would tell you, my next event is scheduled already. I know when my next event is, to tell you the truth. I know when my next event is at my 3-day seminar, because I sell alumni tickets, which you should all do, to your next seminar. So at my 3-day event, my next one is scheduled and locked in with the hotel and dates, locked in.
So you'll sell 4 months early.
6 months early.
Okay.
Well, you know, Craig, you like had last week, you were going to do your event and then speak at mine on Saturday. And you're like, you know, yeah, you were already planning to offer the next, whatever it was.
That's right.
when You spoke at my
That's
event
right.
Saturday. Yeah.
That's right. So then the pandemic puts a little wrinkle in all this. So nothing is scheduled only because fear of scheduling something and canceling. So just so you all know, in my mastermind, I have 2 hotels right now bidding against each other. I was telling this to Jean yesterday, Tillery. So I have August 19, 2021 at the Embassy Suites, which is right before E-Women. But that's a really bad date for me personally, but I'll do it if I can't get September 16, 17, 18 at another hotel in the area. Beautiful hotel, brand new hotel. So I'm trying to I'd rather do it in September because it's a better date for me. And it gives 1 more month for the pandemic to slow down. But I might be locked in to the August one, and it's still not bad because we have a lot of E-Women people too, and they could just go stay for a week and get 2 conferences in. So I should know today. God willing, I'll know today.
So I recently was chatting with this coach, and she said that when you're giving a talk, one of the things for strategies is to say at the beginning, you know what, you really don't need me. You could do this on your own. You know, like to make it so that they don't want you, but in the end, they end up wanting you because you're giving them all this information. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so I only have an initial thought on that because I have to think about it. But oh my God, that's crazy. I wholeheartedly disagree with that, only because if we were to use NLP practices, you just told them that you don't need me, even though you're going to turn it around. But in my mind, I'm still going to say, but I don't need her, but I don't need her, but I don't need her. Now, I don't know if that's the right answer because I'd love to hear the presentation where he or she is able to switch it around. But my initial thought is, personally, I would never do that. But maybe she has a great reason why she does that. And maybe she does something just like my 297 or 3 payments to 197. Maybe she has something there that is able to turn people's thought process around. But initially, my initial thought is, hell no, I would never say that. That's my initial thought.
Okay.
I have someone that actually does something similar, but she doesn't start off saying, you don't need me. She starts off saying, you can do this on your own.
Okay.
And then she shares basically how hard it, like, yeah, you can do this and this and this and this, and like how hard it is. And she really builds the gap. She goes, you can do it on your own.
Okay,
And,
right. There is
or
one way to do that. Correct.
and then, or, you know, or you can kind of do it the easy way and kind of join in with me.
Right.
I had a question, more around, like a lot of what you were talking about right now was like when you're physically on a stage.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering, so right now, the stages openings for me right now are all online. And I'm just wondering how much you adapt for that, or basically just do the same thing. But I was wondering now that it's online more, and probably going to be online more even well into the fall, at least here in Canada, like we're under half of the country's under like stay-at-home orders again right now.
Are they really?
Yeah. No, Ontario had one of its, yesterday was, I think, the worst day in the entire pandemic. We're in a wave 3.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're trying to get our vaccines out as fast as we can. We have the manpower, but we don't have enough supply right now. Yeah. Anyway, that's
tough. Well, the answer to the question is yes, the same for Zoom. Same exact thing.
Okay.
I would think it's exactly the same. Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if you did any adjustments and stuff.
No.
And then the other thing I tend to do is, I mean, stories are one thing. I don't know that I'm a fantastic storyteller, but I tend to, when I'm sharing points, is I like things to be, I think, see myself more as a facilitator. So I activities, like little mini activities. And I like, what are your thoughts on that? Does that work? Do I just place them the same as I might place a story, as long as you just keep mixing it up?
Yes, as long as they coincide with what you're teaching in that session, right? I would, unless you only want to be a facilitator or an MC, I would stay away from thinking of yourself as that.
Okay.
Because you are a speaker and you're a seminar leader and a promoter. And if you are only facilitating, where you are an MC and you're just doing a multi-speaker event and just introducing new speakers, I would try to coach you on doing more, because I know you and I know that you can stand in front of people and you can teach your stuff. I would try to coach you on doing a couple of sessions yourself too and be more than a facilitator. But the answer to the question is yes. Instead of a story, you could have them do an activity, something that makes them do something. And even like in my, a 90-minute presentation, I've seen at Peak Potentials, and I forget what they do exactly, so I apologize, but it has something to do with the bumblebee, and it's a networking thing where it's in actually the middle of a 90-minute presentation, and it takes like 20 minutes of the presentation. But this person, what they were talking about networking, and in the middle, we all had to move our chairs in the middle of a 90-minute presentation and do this networking thing, which was a lot of fun and crazy. But that was really good. It took a while, but it got everyone moving and displaced. It was total chaos, but it worked. I thought it was great. Yeah,
it's a little tricky. My next sort of, shall I say, talk, and this is my push, hold me to it, before the end of April. Now that I have all of the website and all of this stuff set up, I want to do my first webinar on the metabolic balance, the weight loss program. I'm down like 28 pounds. Yay. Yay.
I love it. Good.
And healthy and whole foods, no weird potions and bars and shakes and all of that stuff. Oh, I wasn't putting a plug in there. It was like,
no, that's good.
No, but I need to. So I'm actually pretty good at put me in front of a group of audience. I'm fine. I don't know why, but I am freaking out about creating this PowerPoint, and it's an hour educational presentation, because my goal is to offer it every month or two, depending on how much I onboard. And I'm swinging, obviously, it's to balance hormones and weight loss and all sorts of things. But my swing is, of course, I work with kind of menopausal women. And so I'm also, come up with I'm assuming a jazzy title for my talk type of thing. Probably. And we can talk about that on an aside. Yeah. But tomorrow is Tuesday Share. You could actually share that event as well. So that would be fun. Unfortunately, I'm actually I got invited to go to, if you know Sage Levine. I've never gone to any of her stuff. Yeah, I know Sage. I love her. I have literally got her emails for a decade, never been to any of her events. And one of my friends kind of was like, come. So I'm busy with that. But here was the other part of the question is, the format you just shared for the hour, would I use that same format for a webinar? Like it's still just a talk. Well, it depends. Okay. If you're doing one webinar, like a 1 hour webinar, then yes, you could do that if the idea is to upsell something. But if you're doing training like modules, like 6 modules, no, you don't do an introduction to each. Oh, no. Right. Yeah, no, so it is introduction to get them to book a consultation with me, to get them to go into my highest end program. Absolutely. Yep. The 1 hour webinar would be the same as a 1 hour talk. Yes. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Joanne, it's Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hi. I just wanted to share with you, when you were talking about the difference between virtual and live, the one thing you need to do virtually is to make it more interactive. And you talk as though that you do these workshops or whatever, you do make them do things. The more interactive virtually, the better. So if you can do polls, or you can ask questions, or if you can do breakouts, that is going to engage the audience so much more, because we're very Zoom tired at this time. Exactly.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Or just be very exciting.
out there. Yay! I can do
man.
that.
Start dancing, do like, yeah. No, but yeah, you got to break the Zoom. We're all Zoom tired.
Yeah.
I watched the Masters yesterday, the Masters golf tournament, and there was like not a full crowd, but man, there were a lot of people there. And I'm praying that that's the beginning. Unfortunately, it sounds like Canada.
Yeah, it could be the beginning of another wave, is it depending on if people are using and the biggest cause right now is the variants, because people are still actually using the protocols. So
Right.
yeah. I know, praying for both,
I know.
all the countries.
Any other questions? Woody.
Okay, Craig, I wanted to ask on mine. I do that, like my event that I just did this weekend. I do like all my speakers speak 30 minutes. I do a 15-minute open and a 15-minute close, and then I do a 45-minute speech.
Oh, good.
Hour, kind of adjust the numbers for the hour and into a 45-minute, because I'm the only one with that 45. Yeah.
And once again, if it's 45, you just adjust in between. Absolutely. Yeah. Because 45 is actually a pretty popular number as well.
Yeah. Thanks.
Woody.
Hey, you look 20 pounds lighter.
I am 20 pounds lighter.
You're looking, baby. I do have a question. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well.
We are. Well, at least I am.
But my question is, I'm putting my website up, and I'm also running a TV ad in LA on cable to be a realtor, to sell homes. But also, I realized during your pitch, and with Bo Easton as well, Bo Easton is not a football player anymore, but he sells speaking. I am selling real estate, but as leading one of the 3 biggest Keller Williams offices in LA, I also have so many other skills, like, I had 16 staff people that I would touch weekly. It was the way to present yourself as a leader in the Los Angeles community.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that as an expert, I should be addressing those topics if they're money makers and if they're needed and wanted. So my question is, can you have 2 different areas that you sell in? I'm selling as an active broker, real estate all over America, and also I'm selling my guides or my books on how to be a rewarding boss, how to have that work for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're all the same. All you need to do is one brand, the whole real estate brand. And in that brand, in your real estate world, you have a system. Like, here's my system. We were talking about systems before. One is how to sell real estate. One is how to be a leader. One is, as you said, how to touch 16 people. Now, I don't know if that's legal, but that's okay. I'm joking. That was a joke. Ha, ha, ha. No one's laughing. That's okay. But how you led 16 people, that's all part of the system. And yes, you could have 2 different talks. So I didn't touch on this, but I have different talks. Like if I'm at a marketing seminar, the last thing they want me to do is talk more about marketing. So I'll talk about how to write a book in 30 days, but I still have those numbers, right? I still have a system, but it's all under RockStar Marketing back then. And now it's going to be all under Rock Your Life. Yours will all be under real estate. Everything you do has to be under real estate, but you have little different talks for different areas of the real estate market or the real estate audience. But you still have one brand. You still got to do one brand and just have different pieces of the brand for different talks so that you can accommodate different audiences. You can't have 2 different brands. Like, I don't want you to do a real estate brand, Woody Blagman real estate, and then Woody Blagman leadership. That's a totally different brand. Under the real estate, you could just have a leadership talk that you do on how I led a real estate agency. Does that make sense?
Crystal, yep.
All right, baby cakes.
Craig.
No, thank you, Daddy.
Craig, quick question on branding.
Yes, sir.
If you were to start all over again, but knowing who you are today, and all the people you know and can reach out and ask for help, who would you talk to? Now, mind you, you're on a shoestring budget. Who would you ask to help you with your branding, your rock your life that hasn't been established yet?
Well,
Because there's so many people who claim to be branding experts who can help you out.
He'd call Tim Gillette, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I'd probably call Tim.
Tim,
I don't know
okay.
why my camera keeps freezing. It drives me crazy. Anyway, there's so many people. There's
That's
so
the
many.
problem.
That is the problem. And you know, I can't answer the question. Like, okay, so this is what I did. I signed up for James Malinchak because he taught me the business of speaking. I signed up with Tom Antion a long time ago for internet marketing. I would look at Bo Eason for story. I would look at Brendan Bouchard for, I guess I would say motivation, because, you know, I don't know. But everyone has their, I don't know. There's so many different areas, but specifically for branding, that's kind of what I do, and marketing. So I guess I would call me.
Okay.
Well, I was a marketing guy, so I went to school for marketing, but that's, I mean, there's so many. I don't know. There's so many people I don't even know that a bunch of people in my mastermind go to other people and they say they're great, you know?
Okay, so I'll give you a shout offline over that.
Okay, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to stump you.
Oh, you did. All right, anyone else? All right, so tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I got to do Tuesdays at 8 Pacific time. So 10 o'clock here. I'll send out the blast. So I think it's going to be, unfortunately, for some of you LA people, I don't know if you're early birds or not, but I got to do 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Texas time on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. That's got to be the new times. I just have to do that. It just gets way into my day when I'm done at 12 noon and I got so much else to do. And remember, they're all recorded. And if you go to the site now, there's like the Monday Live is up there now. The Tuesday Share, which we start tomorrow, and the Wednesday Speaker Series are all up there as well. Plus all the old master classes are up there as well. You'll be getting—
Craig, you're going to 8 a.m.?
8 a.m., yeah.
8 a.m.
Or
Yeah.
10 for us people. in
Oh,
I know. I just have to, you know, here's the thing, guys. When you own your own business, right? The reason why we get in to our businesses and why we do what we do, I learned this from a lot of people that mindset people, is it has to work for you, the business owner, right? So I was doing a little bit later 9 in the beginning, master classes, because of the LA audience. And I get that. It makes it easy for them. But 12 o'clock noon is really in the middle of the day for Eastern. So I'm like, oh, they don't like that. So I get feedback from both sides. Trust me, I do. And then for myself, I don't want to be done at 12 noon because I can't really start my day because I'm preparing for this and then be done at 12 noon because half of my day is gone. So I apologize, but everything is recorded. But Roger, if you don't start coming at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be very upset. So
might not see me.
Why? What happens at 8?
I have other things I do.
Does it have to do with food or not food? Like working out. So anyway, so tomorrow and Wednesday are 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock. 8 o'clock Pacific time. And then I should and there you go, Tony. She listens at the gym. That's what there you go. That's I'm night owls. I'm an early bird. I know I'm 50-50. They say early bird gets the worm. I go to bed at 2 and wake up at 1. I go to bed 1:30, and I wake up at 6:30. So I don't want to hear any of your complaining. early
Well, I
bird
can't do the
gets the worm.
6:30, but I go to bed at 1. I don't get up till like almost 8.
I have a kid still.
Yeah.
We still take him to school until he gets his license in June.
Oh, so who's driving that new car?
He is. He's learning on it. He's learning on his car. I am going to email you all, God willing, today, when the dates are. It's either August 19, 2021 or September 16, 17, 18. It'll be in Frisco, Texas. And then hopefully I'll also have the December and first week of December dates locked in for either the Sheraton Gateway or the Westin LAX. But now that I just heard from Joanne, I'm like, what the heck is this new thing, man?
I just booked my first 2022 speaking gig.
Where is that?
Here in Dallas.
Of course it's in Dallas. Everything's open in Dallas.
Ziegler Corporation just booked me for 2022, my 2022.
All right, Timmy.
So I spoke there this morning too. So.
Oh, good. Very nice. Online or?
Online. They're doing it online, but whether they're online or offline, I'm booked for my date next year.
Oh, 2022, they better be offline. So look at my new chair. I got a red chair that matched, red and black, that matched my freaking logo. How cool is that? Come on, that's just sick cool. All right, love you all. See you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., or 11 a.m. Bye. This will be up later today.